Hello, Asia 2022. Greetings from Chicago. My name is Sam George. I teach global migration and world Christianity, as well as serve as the catalyst for the Lausanne movement. I am sorry I couldn't be there in person, but very glad to share this video and briefly talk about global Asians, how the dispersed are transforming and advancing Christianity. Let me begin with a quote. It comes from the first Indian Anglican bishop and speaker of the only Asian speaker of the 1910 World Missionary Conference in Edinburgh. He said, "The religion of Jesus Christ is one of the most dynamic factors in the world. It always bursts its boundaries, however strong and rigid those boundaries may be. It refuses to be confined to any one race, class, or caste. It seeks to embrace all." Human migration has become a defining issue of our times. More people are living in places other than they were born, and this is fundamentally changing and reshaping the world order, altering the societies, economies, nations, and the world. Migration is extremely important to Christianity and its missionary calling. The diaspora factor has shaped and reshaped Christianity throughout its history and continues to do so in the early 21st century. We have never seen the scale and volume and the speed and the direction of the movement of people, of migrants, of refugees, students, asylum seekers, internally displaced people, and transnationals the way we are seeing currently. 19th century was claimed to be the British imperial century. 20th century was an American century. And now they say 21st century is going to be an Asian century. The growing global footprint and political cloud and economic growth in some parts of Asia, and being a large market, the whole worldwide industry is interested in tapping into the Asian market. Asian culture is making inroad, food and fashion and movies and music and technology, and making inroads worldwide. But there is a growing inequity and the hotspots in Asia. And all of this is causing one of the largest migrant sending and hosting region in the world is in Asia. And it is particularly important to understand mission in Asia and by the Asians in the 21st century. Let's look at some data. International migrants in the last 30 years by continent. And we see Asia, and the last one there is Europe. And we have seen a significant surge as a result of the recent war from Russia and Ukraine into westward within Europe and other parts of the world. Here is a movement of migrants to, within, and from Asia in the last 30 years. And we see in each of those categories substantial surge to different parts of the world, to Asia, from Asia, and from within Asia. Here are top 20 migrant nations, Asian countries, and India is right at the top. And about a century ago in 1921, when British was at its territorial peak of its colonial conquest, it was said that the sun never sets on the British Empire. India was its largest colony, and now with the colonial legacy of English language and computer skills, and they are now so widespread that they say the sun never sets on the global Indian diaspora. Here are the 20 top migrant corridors of the world. And the highlighted ones are all in Asia or from Asia. And we see a large chunk of them are Asians are moving big time. Here is top 10 remittance recipient countries. And the highlighted ones on the right, and all of them are in Asia. And there was a slight dip in the COVID years, but expected to surge significantly in 2022. And all of this money flowing across the geographical boundaries. These remittances are shaping families back home and causing more people to migrate from Philippines, from India, from Indonesia, and from Korea and Malaysia and other parts of China and westward and around the continent. What does this all mean? And a record number of Asians are becoming Christians in foreign lands. Migrants are displaying a renewed spiritual vigor and a missionary impulse. With the new and renewed faith, they are impacting their adopted homelands as well as their ancestral homelands for the gospel. And as they go, they are adding diversity in foreign lands, uniquely celebrating their culture and religiosity and practices and establishing diaspora churches in their host lands. And so all of this phenomena is particularly important to understand how Christianity is changing, transforming, and is advancing, will advance in the 21st century. So we say now, at the beginning of the 21st century, it's a new phase of Christianity. There are Christians in every country of the world. Gospel has reached the ends of the earth, at least geopolitically. And we are seeing a radical shift in the cultural and demographic composition of the global church. Mission is no more from the west to the rest. It is from everywhere to everywhere. Nations and the regions that were both mission sending and mission receiving, and this multi-directional missional influence at a global stage. And so we need both a go and come paradigms of mission, a send and receive, depart and arrive. And so we are beginning to reimagine Great Commission and the missionary nature of the Christian faith. There's no home and foreign mission anymore, the colonial model mission era, but we are simultaneously, it is from everywhere to everywhere. So multi-directional, multilateral, multiple centers of Christianity all over the globe. And also it is creating new role for Europe and North America and Western nations, and to understand as the rise of the global South and what is their new role in engaging in mission and how they can do together, engaging in mission everywhere. In alongside and in collaboration with others from other parts of the world. My professor Andrew Walls used to say that migration was a more significant event in Christian history than the Protestant Reformation itself. And what did he mean? As a result of the Protestant Reformation, we see massive migration of Europeans and what came to be known as Great European Migration. And with the growth of Christianity in the Global South, and we are seeing a massive outmigration from the Global South continents, Asia, Africa, and Latin America. More people are on the move than ever in human history. This has become a new focus area for the global church. And the Lausanne Congress in Cape Town 2010 launched People on the Move, Migration and Diaspora as a strategic reshaping influence of the Christian faith in the 21st century. Christianity is a migratory faith. They say if you're a Christian, you will travel. And if you travel, you will become a Christian. So Christianity is diasporic. 21st century Christian faith is not monolithic enterprise anymore, built around racial, ethnic, cultural, or national lines anymore. Just as the Jewish diaspora shaped the contour of Christianity in the first century, today's diaspora communities are in the forefront of the gospel advancement and transformation. And when it is confined to a geography, a particular locality, it becomes a religion, it becomes idolatrous. Like in Hinduism, we say it's geographically imprisoned religion. Its adherents are supposed to live and die in a place close to where they are born. And they're not supposed to, the scriptures prohibit people from going across waters, or what is known as Samudra Langana or Kalapani. Similarly, once we said about missionaries who went across the geography and culture and with the gospel to people. And now we say migrants are missionaries, just as missionaries were migrants, cross-cultural migrants in the past. Every migrant or Christian migrant has the potential to carry out the missionary function, a cross-cultural diffusion of the gospel and adding diversity to nations and the church of places that they go to. Professor Lamin Sana, who said that how Islam, by virtue of a geographical centrality, it can never move out of a geographical center, and linguistic, it can never be translated, and is orthodox, as compared to that, Christian Pentecost created the reverse, the abandonment of the idea of divine territoriality. God cannot be confined to a geography or a particular group of people, because when people move, the gospel moves. And that's the story of Christianity, crossing boundaries, diffusing. And that's the nature of the Christian faith. And we will see with the increased number of Asian migrants worldwide in the coming decades, they will continue to play a critical role as missionaries in diffusing the gospel. So, for example, here in North America, a Chicago sociologist says immigrants are not de-Christianizing America, but de-Europeanizing American Christianity. And Christianity is not native to the US. It was brought here by immigrants and missionaries. It continues to be so, but it is from the different regions of the world. Asians and Latin Americans are the major diasporas reshaping American Christianity, because 2/3 of immigrants are Christians or becomes Christians after coming to the US. Migrants are renewing and revitalizing Christianity in the West, Africans in Europe. And so we call this as a phenomena here in America. We say globalizing of the American church. And different people from different parts of the world who have brought their distinctive Christian ethos and practices and spirituality, and how it is infusing a new vigor to the church in North America. Globalizing of Asian Christianity. Massive migration will result in Asian Christians being around the world. Asian diaspora churches are truly global now. And more globalized and more globally connected we are, more globally needed and relevant we will be. A globalized Christian witness is more powerful. And so we are getting into this era of globalizing of Asian Christianity through Asian Christian migrants, or those Asian migrants who become Christian in foreign lands. But it's also a corresponding phenomenon of Asianizing of global Christianity. Let's not forget that Christianity began in Asia and Jesus was an Asian. And now that it has reached ends of the earth and there is a new missiology, a global ends of the earth missiology. And what does it mean? What is the role of Asian diasporas in shaping and contributing to the making of global Christianity? With our unique sense of spirituality, diversity, and cultural and religious pluralism, and as the world becomes more of that kind, what can we uniquely contribute to understanding of the global Christianity and what Asian Christians can do? We are seeing a significant rise of the global South leaders on the global stage, and along with the Africans and the Latin Americans. Some emerging trends. We are entering into the age of hypermobility, and that will mark a quantum leap in human mobility, human capacity, and of goods and materials and flow of people. A hyperloop is being built in many places. Imagine going from Seoul to Busan in 25 minutes, Abu Dhabi to Dubai in 12 minutes, Shanghai to Beijing in 40 minutes. And it's become reality. And as we begin to travel at speed of the plane on the ground through these tubes, what we came to be known as hyperloops. We also entered an age of hyperconnectivity. We are more connected with 5G and 6G phones coming up, and new technologies and platforms, and artificial intelligence is creating a higher level, a greater quantum leap in our connectivity and capacity to talk, interact with people around the globe. So all of this is related. More we communicate, more we travel, more money, more people will also flow across those borders. And so we say Christianity is a moving faith. It's a faith that is bound to travel and go places. And with the shifting of the center of Christianity, it is gaining new momentum. Different people have been its chief representative. It cannot be confined to a place, then it will become a religion. And it's how God will become an idol, static and territorial. Christianity is a translatable and transportable faith. And so we say God of the Bible is a God on the move. Motus Day, similar to the idea of Missio Day, which was a major idea in the middle of last century. and now we say God is on the move. God is not static or stoic or stagnant, and it provides a theological and missiological framework to understand the increased migration, human mobility, and human connectivity. Because static gods are idle, they're immobile, they're lifeless, often oppressive and territorial. And so we reimagine doctrine of God and Trinity and creation in motile terms. The doctrine of humanity and the fall and incarnation and salvation through moving terms, like divine displacement. Incarnation is nothing but divine displacement. And so we say human mobility is a characteristic feature since we are created in the likeness of God. We move because God is moving. Similar to the notion of human rationality, relationality, dignity, identity, solidarity, freedom, worth, and other dominant interpretations of the image of God in the classical theological text. Of course, missiology and ecclesiology and eschatology, all of this can be conceived in moving terms and motile terms. In conclusion, there's a surge in Asian migration, and they will continue to move in record numbers in the coming years and decades. But let's remember, this is causing a globalizing of Asian Christianity and Asianizing of global Christianity. We have entered into an age of hypermobility and connectivity. And Christianity is a movement and will require a moving God and not a static idol. Let's not reduce it to a religion, but a multinational global corporation. It is not a set of doctrines or institutions or a charitable projects. It is a God who's on the move, and He's gathering people on the move. And people on the move are particularly drawn to a God who is on the move. More can be found. Here are some resources. Please connect with us in Global Diaspora Network. The website is there. Some of the recent writings where you'll find theological framework of Moses Day and tracing stories by Asians. All of this written by 40 chapters written by Asians from all over the world, and reflecting on and recording the journeys of recent surge in Asian migration from Asia, within Asia, and around the world. May this be a blessing. Thank you again for the time and your patient listening. May God bless you all.